Hey there guys, my name's EarthToLydia and welcome back to another Should You Buy episode. As you can see from the title, today's Should You Buy is also going to be the first killer installment in this series. But before we get into the video, if you don't already know, I'm a full-time Dead by Daylight streamer on Twitch, and if you would come and interact with me directly, then go to twitch.tv/EarthToLydia to do so. As this is the first killer installment, we're going to do things a little bit differently. So let me break down exactly what we're going to be going over. A lot of you requested that I add cosmetics that you can purchase from the store to this series, so that's the first thing that we'll go over. As with the survivor portion of the series, we'll then be talking about teachable perks that come with the killer. Then we'll move on to what will for most people be the most important part of buying a new killer, their unique ability, and then we'll wrap up with talking about the killer's difficulty. So of course we're going to be going over Legion today. Let's go ahead and start with cosmetics. So Legion has something quite unique in their cosmetics. There are actually 4 members to Legion, 2 male and 2 female, and depending on which cosmetic that you'll equip, you'll have a different character model and voice lines. Legion has a variety of skins, including my personal favourite, a variety of Robbie the Rabbit skins from Silent Hill. Each colour is for a different member of Legion, and it's a criminally underused skin. The other good thing about Legion is that usually if they're getting an event cosmetic, they usually do one for the male characters and then one for the female characters too. So overall they have an awful lot of skins to choose from. Now we're getting on to teachable perks. At level 30 in Legion's Bloodweb we unlock Discordance, which will display the aura of a gen being worked on by more than 2 survivors up to a radius of 96 meters. Now at tier 1 this radius is only 32 meters, which isn't that far, but at tier 3 this covers a good portion of most of the maps in the game. When one of the survivors leaves the gen, the aura will still be displayed for another 8 seconds. So this will work best on killers of smaller terror radiuses and range killers in my opinion, because the survivors will be less likely to leave the gen early if they hear your terror radius. At level 35 we unlock Mad Grit. Now this one's quite a meme perk. While carrying a survivor, you suffer no cooldown on missed attacks, and successfully hitting another survivor will pause the carried survivor's wiggle timer for up to 4 seconds. This isn't really that strong by itself, so many people usually run it with Iron Grasp and Agitation and just swing repeatedly around the map with a survivor on their shoulder. It's not too strong, but it's a decent amount of fun now and then, and I certainly wouldn't run it in your main build. Iron Maiden unlocks at level 40, and with this perk equipped you open lockers up to 50% faster. In addition to this, any survivors who hop out of the locker will suffer from the exposed status effect for 15 seconds and have their aura revealed to you for 4 seconds. Quite a few people like running this on Huntress because of the faster reload speed. Personally, I like running this with Whispers on Doctor. A lot of survivors like to hop in lockers to avoid the static blast from Doc, and if they do that, you can know exactly where they are and hit them while exposed once they hop back out again. Out of all of Legion's teachable perks, I'd say that you'll see the most use out of Discordance, as you can find a generator with multiple survivors and use your Feral Frenzy to injure them all pretty quickly. As for Mad Grit and Iron Maiden, unfortunately, I wouldn't personally run them on Legion when learning them. Legion's unique ability is Feral Frenzy, which makes you run at 130% movement speed and gives you the ability to vault pallets and windows very quickly. When using Feral Frenzy, you can hit a survivor and gain Killer's Instinct, which is essentially a heartbeat that alerts you of any of the survivors in your terror radius. Scratch marks are not visible in Feral Frenzy. You also aren't able to down survivors while in Frenzy, and when coming out of Frenzy you'll endure a short fatigue, similar to Nurse after blinking. Legion's add-ons have a huge variety of effects on Feral Frenzy, from increasing the duration, shortening the recovery, as well as giving survivors certain status effects, and so on. When you get stunned you'll break out of your power, so if a survivor drops a pellet while you're in Frenzy, you'll probably want to respect it and then vault the pellet if they're not injured. Alternatively, you can actually use this to your advantage quite a lot. I typically run Spirit Fury and Enduring on Legion, so that I can lunge through the pallet and injure the survivor with Frenzy, quickly snap out of my power without any fatigue, and then hit them again with my basic attack. Another perk that I think complements Legion's power really well is Blood Echo, which is a teachable perk from Oni. Obviously Legion is really good at injuring a bunch of different survivors, and because of this they won't typically heal against him. Blood Echo means that when you hook a survivor, all other injured survivors on the map will become exhausted. This is going to do one of 2 things. Either the survivors won't heal and they'll be penalized and unable to use any exhaustion perks, or they'll start healing. And if you can keep injuring the survivors, this time spent healing can be really crucial and adds up to a lot of wasted time throughout the game. A lot of people will say that Legion isn't viable at rank 1, but I partly disagree with this. While it is harder to apply pressure to multiple survivors, with the right perk combinations to complement their power, they can actually be quite oppressive. Also, Legion is very, very good at blood point farming. It's very easy to use your power an awful lot throughout the game, and the amount of hits that they get give you an awful lot of blood points overall and a lot of emblem status. Unfortunately, a lot of the perks that work best with their power come as teachables from other killers, so you might want to put some points into the other killers first. You will have to work a little bit harder than some other killers to pull this off, but if you're down for a challenge, then Legion is quite viable. Legion was actually the first killer that I ever got to rank 1 with, and I still play them pretty comfortably at this rank. Now for my final thoughts. Overall, I'd say Legion's power is on the easier side to get to grips with if you're used to M1 killers and how basic chases throughout the game work. Like I mentioned earlier, you will have to work harder to get good value out of them at high ranks, but overall he's quite enjoyable to play as. As I said earlier, I think to get the best use out of him you'll need some other perks from other killers, so if you don't have that many killer perks unlocked, you might want to put off buying him until you've either leveled up some other killers or you unlock them from the Shrine of Secrets. Anyway, that is about all for this video. I could go into recommended builds and such, but I think that's more appropriate for another video if you want to see that. Also, let me know your thoughts down in the comments, and make sure to keep the conversation going over in our Discord server. As always, the links to all my social medias, including my Twitch channel, are linked in the description box below. I want to thank you all so much for making it this far in. Until next time, see you all later.